Pete Buttigieg is not a politician that a lot of people know a ton about. He's a relative newcomer to the national stage, but we're starting to learn more about him thanks to unearthed videos like this one from 2011.
You know, the kids need to see evidence that education's going to work for them, right? So you see a lot of parts of
That's
town
part of the
where,
motivation.
Yeah, because you're motivated because you believe that at the end of your educational process, there's a reward, there's a stable life, there's a job. And there are a lot of kids, especially the lower income minority neighborhoods, who literally just haven't seen it work. There isn't somebody they know personally
and I think that's
who testifies to the value of education. So yeah.
That makes my chest tight.
Okay, so I'm glad that you're here because I obviously, look, I've endorsed a different candidate. I know that I am not necessarily biased in a positive way towards Buttigieg, but I heard that and I thought, I wouldn't say it like that.
You shouldn't say that at all. And it's this idea that like black people are dumb and that like the system is not the problem. It's the fact that in our homes, there's no, like, are you crazy?
It's very-
Like the idea that like, we don't all have like the same, if not even stronger educational like encouragement because of this world that we have to live in. And what's so frustrating for me, like as a black woman in America, that in 2019, the best we can do, excluding the black and Latino candidates, is a stage full of white candidates who almost all have made a similar mistake. In 2019.
Yes.
It's frustrating because like we you know, it's just, I'm all for forgiving people. I'm also like all for searching for people who have never thought so little of us, of people who look like me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is disappointing, particularly because he's not 90. Like that was 2011. He was 16 years old in that video. I'm kidding, he was not. He was in his late 20s or whatever, but he's not an elderly person. And I'm sure he thought, I am being, like I'm so filled with empathy right now. I'm trying to understand these people who live lives that I look realistically don't know much about. They would like education if they had ever seen it help someone, but they haven't because they're surrounded by people that don't have education and don't get that it helps you get a job. That's crazy. And like you said, it's putting all of the onus on culture and the family, and it's their fault. It's not that they exist in a system that makes it harder at literally every step along the way to do well. It's like you don't. If you wanted it, you'd have it already. No, that's crazy, and especially for a guy who's like, he's always like, oh, you don't know me, but I'm from South Bend, so I get it. Well, kind of. You're from an area near South Bend. You grew up in a nice neighborhood, and it sort of shows.
It's a similar argument. Like one could draw parallels to like what he's fighting today. Like this idea that he doesn't have as much political experience as other people running right now, but he feels he still deserves an opportunity. And taking him and his failures at the political experience he has had out of it, yeah, everyday people often could be much better politicians than the one we have. They're just out of the club.
Yeah.
They know what's going on and what needs to be done more than anybody.
Yeah.
They're just not in the club.
Yeah.
And so the fact that like he can make that work in his head, but if your skin is darker,
yeah,
it's, you know, I don't know. It's just
we don't have time to go through the whole thing, but there's sort of like what he just said about education. I don't want to try to read anyone's mind, but I feel like he feels the same way about the politics. Like there's this profile in the Washington Post about how he was always an ambitious kid.
Yeah.
And he was always kind of serious and always thought he'd do politics and everything. And he recently just said it's down to just me and Warren in Iowa. And it's like, dude, what are you talking about? But I bet he thinks that's what has allowed me to get as far as I have. I just wanted it. No one else wanted it. No one knew.
He was sworn to do it? Is that
no, man, like, there's a reason why a mayor who got 11,000 votes in one case is taken very seriously as soon as they launch their presidency. And then literally hundreds of other potential candidates who are also mayors who got more or the same number of votes.
And also Rhodes Scholars.
Let's not talk about that. They're not on that stage.
Is that education?
Exactly. Seems like they wanted it actually. Cory Booker, he wanted it. But anyway, there's a learning moment there. Ideally, you do the learning before you run for president, though.
Yeah,
unfortunately, some people don't do that. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.